In the 1970s, Lakner did parallel paintings and conceptual pieces, photo-based conceptual pieces, visual pottery, textual concepts, book objects, experimental films, and so on, and also performative works and collaborative works. One of the most interesting examples of these collaborative works is the food art project initiated in 1970-1971 when László Lakner decided to contact Harald Zeeman, the curator of the 1972 Documenta, and to offer a project that would be a common project of the Hungarian neo-avant-garde, which would be present at the 1972 Documenta as a football team. As a football team playing in a museum space, maybe in the space of the Fridericianum, but as a preliminary work, he created a booklet of collages on which we see a football team going into the historical halls of the Museum of Fine Arts with classical paintings. And thus, Lakner turns the museum space into a playground of football. And this idea, on the one hand, is a witty reference to Hungary's famous golden football team of the 1950s, of which Hungary was very famous at those years. But also football is a very nice metaphor, the metaphor of art as game, as play, and also as a metaphor of phenomena in the cultural sphere, as if it was a sort of competition, because later on, László Becker, the art historian, continued this project, and this group of artists created or exercised as a football team, preparing for the Documenta 1972. And there was a vision of playing against other artists and visioning art as a sort of playground or as a competition between people. So football is a sort of metaphor of the power structures of the international art world. Finally, and sadly, this project was not realized, but on the other hand, this unrealized project of László Lakner is one of the most interesting and most complex projects of the 1970s. On the other hand, Lakner also created lonely performative works. I mean by lonely performative works as instances of performative photography or performative drawing in some extent. Like, for example, I take The Shape of the Stairs, in which we see Lakner's body with traces of the stairs. He was lying on the stairs, on his stomach, and then documented the traces of the stairs or the staircase on his body. We see here the relationship between the organic and the geometric surfaces. But on the other hand, we also see again the question, what does it mean to adapt to a societal system, to a society? What does it mean to behave in a system in which adaptation to these rules is obligatory? And this work, this very complex work, addresses these major issues. If you're talking about Lakner's text-based works, these pieces, like the citation pieces, are very important because these citation pieces evoke very famous quotes from cultural history, like the first sentence of Paul Celan's Des Fougues, or the last sentence of Ludwig Wittgenstein, Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus. In this case, Lakner quotes this sentence, worüber man nicht sprechen kann, darüber muss man schweigen. So about what we cannot speak, about that we should remain silent. He quotes this sentence in different languages, in Hungarian, in English, in German, and in French. in some cases even five languages. It was presented in the Galerii Foksal in Poland, and in that case it was also in Polish language. And between the language barriers, we see lines that are boundaries. These boundaries have geopolitical meaning as well. What does it mean to be between cultures, and what does it mean to go beyond boundaries? Boundaries which seem to be uncrossable in those years. And I think such works are very, very timely nowadays as well. What does it mean to be translated? What does the act of translation mean, and how can we deal with the acts of translation in an international or globalized world?